Well, new interesting twist. It's not much of a theory, but as a country gets stronger, it always flexes its muscles and acts more and more of its own self-interest and isn't afraid to do whatever it wants to do. In the case of China, they're talking. It says it might own Okinawa too. Okinawa, the Ryukyu Island chain, southern Japan. It's I don't know how long it's been part of Japan. Way back, I think Okinawa used to be part of China or Taiwan or something. Actually, it's more part of Taiwan, but not mainland. But anyway, they're talking about this because you know that the argument over the islands that are not far from there about with richness in oil and natural gas. China's claiming them in their big dispute with Japan. So now they're saying they're upping the ante. They're saying, hey, we own Okinawa too. Hey, so it was in a lengthy article in the People's Daily, China's most circulated newspaper and a mouthpiece for the ruling Communist Party, argued that China may have rights to the Ryukyu Island chain, which includes Okinawa, which is where all the Marine bases are, the Air Force, and Navy and all this type of stuff. Actually, it's mostly, I think, Marines and Air Force, mainly Marines probably. But, it's Japan annexed the islands in the late 1800s. So, hey, as you get more power militarily, guess what happens? And also in recent news, you talk about, is World War III actually on the plate? Yeah, it is. There's no doubt about it, man. I mean, it's not a draw. I don't know when something's going to really, really happen, but it's, you can see the writing's on the wall. Just like back in the 30s, nobody's kind of like doesn't want to believe it and all this kind of garbage. Hey, it's probably legit. And there's another thing out there. Chinese hackers stole plans for dozens of critical U.S. weapons systems. So, and actually, if you look back, a lot of stuff that the U.S. uses in the military, like in the C-130 cargo planes and everything there is, they got all these like chips and stuff, electronic chips for like there's different systems that are in there. They're made in China, and they found out a lot of them are not good. They're going back and they're having to redo everything. They should have never got. They should have went with the U.S. all the way and supported our own industries. And I guess you can't be accusatory, but why would China have a major interest in making sure stuff they sell to the U.S. military is of the utmost quality? I mean, really, why would they, right? So it looks like they got, as far as hacking, some of the compromised designs and stuff they got information on is the F-35 fifth generation fighter jet, the V-22 Osprey, the one that takes off vertically and flies like a jet and stuff like that, the THAAD missile defense system, which is theater high altitude air defense. That's like what the Navy uses. Well, it's the Navy uses the Aegis. That's like the land-based ones. Same thing. It's Aegis is the Navy, and that is the Army, I think. Patriot missile defense system, the advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles, global hawk, high-altitude surveillance drone. So, China got all that stuff for themselves. Now, they're going to get pissed off because it looks like the United States is going to be selling Japan a bunch of drones, probably Taiwan. So what else is new, right? What else is new in the world? Big bucks, big industry, and the military all working together. But as soon as a country does get a lot of power, man, they start acting different. They do. I'm going to say something here on the end. I know what the internet has on here. It's like, anytime I say anything with Iran, they're like, oh, no, they couldn't be doing it. They haven't created a war in 150 years. If Iran had, all kinds of power, it'd take them a while to get it, but they're doing all right. They'd be doing the same type of thing. Actually, pretty much most countries do that. Talked about Adolf Hitler back, oh yeah, Germany was nothing, they're not that strong, oh, he's not going to do that. Man, I don't know. Actually, you think about it, the United States ain't as bad as you think, because if other countries had all the weaponry of the United States, they would be using them a lot. So just beware. I mean, I know there's criticism that people always put at the United States, but um, you really can't just change history and go back and say, like, what if this other country had all the power of the United States? Man, I think there'd already been like freaking flat out decimation of the entire world. That's what I think would have happened. In the case of Russia, I think the Russians are fairly much under the control of the West, or have been. Maybe not now so much, though. That could be changing. That's why the Cold War never developed into nothing. The Cold War itself was a scam. It was a scam that scared the crap out of people to, basically get behind, the NATO and that type of stuff, and the group and the whole blocks of nations together under NATO and versus in the Eastern Bloc nations and stuff. But it was a step towards global government, and it was also to push the United Nations as a peacekeeping agency and stuff, and a governmental power, so to speak, even though it's got no power per se yet. But that's why there never was a global conflict. Basically, that was, a scam. The Cold War was kind of a scam. It was real, but then it was kind of a scam. The threat was there, but the threat was actually created by the Western elite. Now, this stuff that's going on in China, it may be the same type of thing, too. It's like war produces change. And maybe this is what's going to cause all countries, if there's a World War III at some point in time, the outcome from that would be disarmament of all countries. That's what I think it would be. So maybe that's what's in the works. And I don't know what the deal is with the Chinese leaders, but they're a bunch of egotistical kooks that throw people in jail and stuff like that. It ain't the Chinese people. It never is. It's never the people anywhere, practically. It's always the freaking leaders. But in the case of China, they can't do too much about it because they ain't armed. In the case of the United States, we are armed. But let's not do anything stupid like march on Washington, D.C. That's idiotic. But anyway, it looks like China's going back to trying to say Okinawa is ours. Man, oh man. These guys are never going to stop, man. And actually, Okinawa used to be part of like Taiwan, that part of China. It was part of China a long time ago. It does have Chinese influence. But they're just saying it right now because they got the military clout, and since they stole all these American secrets and stuff for all the high-tech systems. And the other thing is with this stuff, I'm going to bring something out that I said it before in an earlier video, but it was like something I found out from somebody. And he's pretty important. He said he found out from when they brought down that drone in Iran. That wasn't the Iranians that brought down that American drone. He said it was the Chinese. They did it. The Chinese did it, and they did it in such a way so as not to, screw up with the American government. So it's like, the Iranians did it. The Iranians didn't do it. The Chinese did it. But with all this hacking and stuff like that, they know what's going on in the American systems, the complex military systems they have, theater high altitude air defense and that type of stuff, Aegis, and they know what goes on in the F-35 fifth generation fighters. They're working for a way to disable that stuff. So, and you know what? Chinese are smart. They got a lot of smart people, man. They probably got the brain power to do it. So, but as always, old tech rifles work too. So if there's a lot of armed Americans, that's one thing that'll be good against those guys. If there's ever a serious problem, because things always happen in steps. It's like it ain't gonna happen right away, but when it does, it gets that much closer to the next step. So in the case of China, the more power they got, the guys that are running the top, they're pretty belligerent, and they're gonna use that stuff. So I don't know. Buy USA. That's all I gotta say.